Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be taking an early look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Stranger Things crossover 2-packs, thanks to the folks over at Playmates Toys. And yes, that's what we've got going on here. 2-packs featuring the heroes in a half shell and characters from the hit Netflix show Stranger Things. Now look, my line of thinking is right there with most of yours. A lot of these 2-packs we've been seeing from Playmates lately with Ninja Turtles seem like they're out of nowhere. I mean, what do these mashups really have to do with one another, right? Turtles and Stranger Things is sort of a weird mashup. It's just something that's very popular right now, mashing it with Turtles. So, sure, I guess so. But let me tell you what really caught my eye about these sets. It's that the Turtles themselves are inspired by the original Mirage comics, and they do appear to be new molds. They're not just reusing the same classic collection bodies that we've seen reused in all those other 2-packs, like the Cobra Kai pack, the Street Fighter packs, etc. So that's what really stood out to me. So I'm actually pretty excited to get these opened up to take a look at them. The packaging is quite clever here. You can see the Stranger Things figures are upside down, because of the upside down. So on this side, we've got the Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I actually really love that with the comic images up there. So we got Raphael and Leonardo. And of course, when we flip them upside down, now we've got the Stranger Things logos. And our Leonardo comes packaged with 11. And our Raphael comes packaged with Hopper. Now, they do seem to be wearing their outfits from season 3, the previous season of the show, so not the current season. So that is worth mentioning as well. And we've got some other accessories in there to take a look at. And then if we look at the back of the packages here, I'm going to flip one of them upside down because they do appear to be the same across the board. So again, on one side of the box, we've got some cool artwork of Eleven and Hopper, while on the other side, we've got a little image with some information about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So fun packaging for sure. Let's go ahead and get these pulled out of the box and really take a look at the figures inside. Okay, I want to start by taking a look at the two Stranger Things figures that come with these 2-packs. I feel like I'm going to have a lot more to say about the Turtles, but we're going to start here with these two figures. Now, let's start with the scale on these. So you can see that Hopper is right about 6.5 inches tall, while 11 is just shy of the full 6 inches tall. So these are essentially 6-inch scale action figures. And, what we saw in the packaging, they are quite a bit smaller than the two Turtles. So I do want to bring in the Turtles real quick just to show that scale comparison here. That is one thing about this that is definitely a bit strange. It feels like these two things weren't actually designed together. And I know there's been a lot of questions like, why is there even a Turtles and Stranger Things 2-pack? It's just as weird as the Turtles and Cobra Kai 2-packs and all the other things. It just feels like Playmates is mashing together two properties, or obviously in this case Stranger Things, very popular. They got the rights to do toys, so they mashed them with Turtles. It just feels like something that they're mashing things together just to put them out there, and I suppose that's fine, but you can really see here how these almost don't look like they're meant to be together. The Turtles are so much taller and so much bulkier than these human characters, and that is not at all the way the Turtles are supposed to be in comparison to humans, especially the Mirage Turtles. They should be much shorter than the human characters. So they almost don't feel like they really belong together. You almost have to treat these as separate things. So let's go ahead and talk about the design of the Stranger Things figures. Honestly, I really like them. I think they look really, really nice. Looking at Hopper specifically, you can see there's a decent likeness there. 11 is okay, but what I really get from these is almost an animation vibe. Like if there were a Stranger Things animated series, it might look like these figures. Honestly, I think these are pretty cool, almost like caricatures, if you will. They feel almost kind of like some retro action figures of a movie property or a TV property. I think they look nice and they feel solid. The colors are really good. The paint deco's good. Let me show you guys what the articulation looks like on these particular figures. So we got on 11 here, the head is on a ball-like joint, so it can roll all the way around there. You can see the arms can go up, forwards, back at the shoulders. You do have swivels at the elbow, a bend at the elbow, swivels and hinge joints at the wrist. We got a turn at the waist there. You do have the ball-like hinges at the thighs, though the legs don't go out too far there. But you can go forwards, backwards, swivel at the thigh cut, single joint at the knee, which is actually hidden pretty good with that sculpt. And then the feet can swivel there, as well as hinge forwards and backwards. We don't really have a rocker joint or anything like that there. Hopper's articulation is basically the same. Ball joint there. You can swivel at the waist. So, and they feel pretty solid. The construction feels good. The joints feel tight. None of the joints feel loose on these guys. So these are honestly some pretty solid little action figures. I was honestly impressed that I liked them so much out of the box, because when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if this is something I'm really terribly that interested in, as getting Stranger Things figures in this style. But like I said, I was a little bit more impressed with them when I got them outside of the package. And honestly, getting like a core group of the main characters in this style is pretty cool, because these feel very toyetic. Like, these feel like toys of the Stranger Things characters. They're obviously not the most highly detailed. They don't have perfect likenesses to the actors, but they do feel like toys from the property. And I kind of like that. I dig that. So we do have a few accessories here. So 11 does have a backpack, which can be put on the figure pretty easily there, and it completes the look of her outfit, which is pretty nice. Obviously, she's also molded with the one open hand there, so you can pull out some of the iconic poses of her using her powers. And then the only other accessory specifically for her is this flashlight. Now, I will say her one gripping hand is a bit loose, but she can still hold on to the flashlight just fine. Now, Hopper gets a bit more in the accessory department. He also comes with the exact same flashlight, and again with him, his hands are a little loose, but he can still hold on to the flashlight just fine. In addition to that, he's also got a handgun, which honestly, I'm a bit surprised that it's such a realistic looking little handgun, and his right hand has a trigger finger on it, so you can actually get him to hold on to that gun perfectly there. And then in addition to that, we've also got an axe, and we've got a spiked baseball bat. Now, both of these are made of a bit of a gummy pliable plastic. You can see how very, very flexible they are. He can hold on to them fine in his gripping hand. Again, the grip is a little bit loose with these, and it's hard to get some nice looking two-handed poses. You can kind of do it, but they don't look that natural. But still, lots of different accessories there. So Hopper really gets armed all out so he can do some battle against some demigorgons or what have you. Now, I do want to point out, there's a couple of accessories that come with these sets that are definitely more meant for the turtles, but I wanted to show them to you with these characters. So first of all, we got this very clever ninja star that is made out of an Eggo waffle. That's a lot of fun. So, I mean, I suppose if you want to put that with your 11, you could, though it's weird that it's ninja star shaped. Then we also get two of these portable Walkmans, and these are huge compared to the Stranger Things figures, which definitely tells me they are more meant for the turtles. I mean, look at this. The headphones are way too gigantic to be sitting on the heads of the Stranger Things characters. They look ridiculous, but I wanted to show that to you because we're going to come back to those with the turtles, so you can see they don't quite work with the turtles either. Alright, so now it's time to take a look at the Ninja Turtles, which I'm sure a lot of my viewers specifically are very curious about. So if I bring in the tape measure here, you can see that the figures themselves are at about 6.5 inches, a little over that, maybe 6.75. So yeah, about 6.5, I guess. They do stand just a little bit taller than Hopper, like I showed you, and they're very big and very bulky. I mean, you can just see my hands in here, how chunky these boys are. So these are some big, solid figures. Now, one of the things I want to do right out the gate is I want to show them alongside the classic collection figures that Playmates has done in the past. And the reason I want to do that is because most of their recent 2-packs, like the Cobra Kai 2-pack, and it looks like even the Street Fighter 2-packs, they just keep reusing this exact same mold here. They've even done it for a lot of their other Turtles 2-packs with the villains. So they've been reusing these molds over and over and over again. And I wanted to show you guys that these are not reused from the classic collection molds. These do appear to be brand new sculpts through and through. You can see some of the articulation is different. They don't have articulated fingers. They don't have articulation in the turtle shell midsection there. So a lot of this does appear to be completely different, especially from these. Now, we do also have the Classic Collection movie figures that they did, and it's possible maybe that some of the leg parts were reused on these, though I don't think so, because even those look a little bit thicker. The arms are the same way. They look bigger than what we've got on these new Mirage figures here. So these do appear to be completely new molds for the turtles, brand new sculpts, which is a very good thing considering we've just seen the same figures reused over and over again from Playmates recently for their Ninja Turtles releases. So they do share bodies between each other, though. This is Leo, this is Raph, and it does look like everything about these figures is exactly the same except for the head sculpt. And I suppose that's fine, especially for the Mirage Turtles. There's really not a ton of difference there. But, you know, it's a good way for them to save costs, too. Honestly, they look pretty nice through and through. Now, they're very clean. There's obviously no weathering, dry brushing, anything like that. So they're just molded in, like, a darker green color. And then everything looks real nice on them, I will say. And they feel really good in hand. And I do like the head sculpts quite a bit. I think they do a great job of capturing that Mirage look. Obviously, the biggest difference there is just like where the position of the gritting teeth is. It's opposite on the figures' heads, and then their bandanas are blowing opposite directions as well. I also want to point out that they've got the tail, just like the Mirage Turtles do, so that's pretty cool. Now, these figures were sculpted by Phil Ramirez, and he's done a lot of work in the past with Playmates, and I'm pretty sure he's also the individual who sculpted the Mondo Turtles. And I can see the influence specifically in the head sculpts here. I think they are very similar looking to what we got from Mondo. So these are clean. They do feel a little more basic when you're comparing to some of the other collector figures like NECA, like Super 7. However, they still look and feel like really nice Ninja Turtles action figures. So with that, let's talk about the articulation on these guys. You got the head at a ball joint there, kind of rolls all the way around, decent articulation. The shoulder joints can go up, forwards, backwards. I will say that the shoulders are a little looser than I'd like, and you can kind of see we got a little bit of drooping over here with the elbow. This is the only instance I have of that on these guys, but Leo's right elbow is a bit loose, which is unfortunate. It is a double joint at the elbow, though, which is pretty nice. Swivel at the wrist there. Obviously, nothing in the torso. We do have ball socket joints, it looks like, at the thigh. So the legs can kind of go outwards. They'd mostly just kind of roll around there. Swivels at the thigh cut. You do have double joints under the knee pads there. And then the ankles can go forwards and backwards and slightly rock around. Yeah, look at that. Kind of rolls around there. So it's some decent articulation. And like I said, it, for the most part, feels solid with the exception of Leo's right arm over here. I don't know why this one is so loose. That is a bit unfortunate. So might be something worth noting because I don't know if that's going to be consistent between all of the releases here. So of course, for the accessories, it only makes sense. Leo's got his classic swords. So let me show you what these look like in the figure's hands. It is a bit loose in the right hand. Now the left hands, this is interesting. I want to point out because they do look really open. And at first, it does feel like they're not gripping onto the sword. Like, did you see that? It feels really loose. But what's worth noting is there's like this extra little notch that you like can push the sword into, and that actually holds it in place. So it actually looks like his fingers are a little loose around the sword, which is an interesting choice, but the notch in the palm of his hand holds the sword perfectly. So he actually gets a really strong grip on the sword there. And then since Raph is the same body, you've got the exact same thing going on there. You do just kind of want to push that into the notch into the palm of his hand, and he can hold on to his size. It is worth noting that the fingers are much too close together to like put the size between the fingers, which is something I always like to do with my Raph figures, and unfortunately this one cannot pull it off. But they do look good with their weapons, and honestly, you can pose these guys around and get some pretty nice poses out of them. Once I started really playing with them and taking photos, I was more and more impressed with these as actual action figures on their own. So again, I showed these already, but they do have the Eggo Waffle Ninja Stars, which are big and goofy, and, you know, it's kind of a problem with a lot of Turtles figures. They come with weapons that they don't hold perfect, so you can kind of get that in his hands. I do want to bring back the Walkman here, because this is so weird. Like, these are fun accessories, and you can see they've got it positioned so that they can kind of hold them in their big turtle hands. That's why there's like this, almost like this chunk missing out of the back of them here. But the problem that I really run into is that these headphones don't really fit around the turtle heads either. I mean, first of all, where exactly are they supposed to be positioned? Like up on their headbands? Because they don't stay up there at all. And when you're stretching them around the turtle head, it actually is stretching it out a little bit too far to where it doesn't fit very good. In fact, you'll even notice in some of the pictures that the cord started tearing on mine just trying to get it around the turtle heads. They look a little bit better if you just hang them around the neck. So I guess they work as accessories like that, but they definitely don't sit on the turtles' heads correctly. So fun in theory, but it's an accessory that I just don't feel works out too well. All right, guys, it's comparison time, and mostly what I want to do here is show you guys the scale of these guys. So we're going to start by showing them alongside NECA's version of the Mirage Turtles, just so you can see the differences there in the overall designs, but also, of course, those NECA ones are so much smaller compared to these new ones from Playmates Toys. So we're going to go and stand them alongside the NECA movie figures as well, and the scale is a little bit closer with those. However, you can see that these new Playmates ones are still much bulkier, so they still feel a lot bigger than those NECA movie figures do. And this one was kind of the most surprising to me. This is the Super 7 Ultimates TMNT action figure standing alongside them, and those even look small in comparison to these new ones from Playmates. And that was surprising to me because the Super 7 ones already feel so big and so chunky, so I was kind of surprised to see how small they are in comparison to these brand new ones. So there you go, my friends. That is an up-close look at the upcoming TMNT Stranger Things 2-packs from Playmates Toys. They are a bit bizarre, yes. When you're looking at them in the aspect of why do these exist? Why do we have turtles with Stranger Things characters? Why do the scales not match up? They do feel bizarre. However, if we separate them, we look at the Stranger Things figures alone, they're pretty cool. We look at the turtles alone, and honestly, they are pretty nice. Now, I know you have a lot of variety out there when you're picking your turtles figures. Lots of different companies are doing lots of different styles, and honestly, I do think these have a place in that. I think it's good that Playmates did some brand new sculpts this time around. I love to see that. I'm actually kind of curious to get the other two to complete the team, because I think standalone, these look like a really neat display of some Mirage style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, if they go any deeper and they give us any villains, they need to be appropriately scaled or it's totally going to ruin the illusion here. But standalone, they're actually pretty nice. I want to give a very special thanks to the folks over at Playmates Toys for sending these along so we can get a good look at them outside of the packaging a bit early. These are Target exclusive, and these first two packs should be hitting stores sometime in August, I believe. And then later down the line in February, the other 2 packs coming out will be Donatello and Lucas, and Michelangelo and Dustin. So we'll be getting those as well. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video, and until next time.